this morning have your smartphone?
Amen.
I know it's easy. How many of you have a camera on your smartphone? How many of you know how to use your camera on your smartphone? And all the hands kind of shaking. You have your smartphone. Your smartphone has a camera. I want you to take it out there. And I want you to take a picture. The first picture I want you to take is anything in this room. You can take a picture, one picture of anything in this space. Anything in this space. All right? Now we got smartphones. I know we're quick. All right, so that's one. All right. The next picture I want you to take is a picture of someone sitting close to you. All right? All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do with those in a few minutes. Now, put them away. Smartphones away. Smartphones away. Cameras off. As the teacher used to say, eyes. Did the teacher say eyes? I want to talk this morning about painting, the masterpiece of our lives. Painting, the masterpiece of our lives. Vincent van Gogh was the kind of painter that inspired a couple of reactions from those who watched and viewed his work. There were those who looked at his work and they loved it. They saw the way he put paint to canvas, the way he brought together colors and expression. It wasn't this high ideal art where you could stand in front of it for hours and not tell whether it was a foot or a head or a tree or a branch, but Van Gogh's paintings really did depict something that we could identify with immediately. Whether it was a chair or a field or a flower or a cafe. When we looked at the picture immediately, we could see something. We could identify location. We could figure that out very quickly as we looked at his work. And then there are others who would look at Van Gogh's works and they would look and say, I just don't get it. It doesn't say it. It doesn't do what a Rembrandt does. It doesn't do what some of the other classical master painters were able to do with creating a certain emotion immediately as we looked at their work. Many would look at his paintings and they would just say, okay, I could do that. Have you ever looked at a painting somewhere or a picture somewhere and you look at it and said, I could paint that. I mean, it just looks like they just took a lot of paint, put it up there, this way, that way. And they consider that art and will sell millions of dollars worth of whatever it is. And we look at it and say, oh, that doesn't look that complicated. Doesn't look look that difficult. I could make that work. Last year in 2015 was the 125th anniversary of Van Gogh's death. He died very young. He died at the age of about 37. And his whole entire painting career spanned probably only 10 years of his life. It was the last 10 years of his life. He wasn't a painter in the beginning. He didn't start off with a paintbrush in hand, but he started off wanting to be a priest. He wanted to go into ministry. He wanted to be a part of the lives of those whom he saw all around him anguishing and suffering. And he thought that that was his calling, and that was what he was going to do. So at the age of 25, he takes off to a particular region in the Netherlands, and he decides that he's going to do missionary work as the beginnings of his priestly work. He wanted to start off by working with people and then move his way into his work as a priest. So he finds this little place in the Netherlands. It was gritty and drab and gray, and it was an eastern coal mining town. It wasn't even really a town. It was just a place where the coal miners were as they worked the coal mines in the Netherlands. They were poor. They were languishing. He saw this as the opportunity for him to do the missionary work to prepare for the priesthood. And as he looked at this place that seemed so dreary, so gray, so depressing, he thought that this would be his inspiration to minister to the lives of people as a priest. But something happened on the way to the priesthood. So he began thinking about how he was going to serve as a priest. The priests who were in the region decided that he was not priestly material. He was not bringing the kind of honor and the kind of respect that in those days a priest should have. He was living among the dirty and walking among the despised. And he was not looking like a priest that they wanted to bring into their priestly work. And so there, at the age of 27, having been there only 2 years, it was told to him that you will never be a priest. You'll never be able to be a priest. So just take off any of that priestly garment that you have. Take off any of that you feel will allow you to become a part of the clergy. And you're going to have to try to find another way of life. What you had thought was important, and what you were going to do, that's not what you're going to do, because as the guardians of the priesthood, we feel that that is not your calling. It is then that Vincent van Gogh picks up a paintbrush. And what he does with the paintbrush, you'll see this? It's orange. And what he does is, in a world that is so drab, in a world that is colorless to him, just look, if you will, at what the coal miners are wearing. It's the same drab. Look at how the coal miners' faces are looking. They are full of soot and dirt and grime. And it seems like the whole world is this way. What he begins to do is he begins to look for color everywhere. Everywhere he looks, he saw colors green somewhere. He began to paint color on gray canvas. He began to look in the fields, and he saw that there was yellow in the fields, and he borrowed from the fields, and he began to paint a little bit of the yellow on the canvas, and because he grabbed that from the painting. One of his most famous paintings is called Starry Night. Many of you may be familiar with this painting. It looks like any of our children from the age of 7 to 9 could have painted Starry Night. It is an exaggerated picture with a dark blue background, which was familiar to him because of the coal mining region, darkness. And then he draws stars. And every star is this big. Not just a star like this, but what he draws is a star that speaks. Not just one, but dozens of stars spinning on a canvas. And there's a highlight that goes to the bottom of the canvas that shows water. So not only is he able to show the spinning large, super large stars in a dark sky, light and bright, he also has the opportunity to show them reflecting on the water. So it is a way to double up the light that he wants shown in the picture. Because of the celebration of his 125th year, the celebration of his death, there was an art historian that decided to write an article. And the article was about a journey. The journey that retraced the steps of his life. A journey that allowed a person who was interested in following the life of this artist to move from cities in the Netherlands to cities in Belgium to cities in France, so that as they were making their journey, there were strategic places along each of the stops where there was a replication of a painting that Van Gogh had painted in that place. And as the visitors, as those following that trail would stop, they would stop at a place, and there they would look at a painting, and now 125 years later, you could look at the painting and you see the field. You see the building that is in the painting. You see somewhat of what it was that made his journey important and made his journey significant. And the reality is that his paintings may not make any difference and may not make any sense to us except when we go to the places where the painting is done. When you stand in a place where he took a paintbrush and he saw a landscape, and he began to put it together and to paint, it is then that we also become a part of the journey that was Van Gogh's journey. Now, he was a tortured soul. He was. He suffered from some mental challenges, some mental illness. I believe that was a part of what caused his life to be so much shortened. But the reality is that as we follow his painting journey and locations, we discover that it's a part of his experience. Well, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a life in 2016 where we've already come with a certain expectation, a certain hope, a certain desire of what's going to be happening. In Van Gogh's case, he was expecting to move into clergy, into ministry, to do a particular work for the church as he deemed it. He was starting off his work as a missionary, but as the days were moving forward, something shifted and changed. And I want to give you a heads up today that many of us have gone into this year where we've already figured it out. We've already figured out what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, where we're going to do it, with whom we're going to participate in it. And our idea is as long as we're moving on that track and that trail, we're going to be okay. But I've come to give you a warning in advance. We don't know what tomorrow holds. And the way we are prepared for a new year may be entirely different than what God really wants to happen. And the truth of the matter is the canvas that we already have laid out, which is paint by the numbers. For some of us, we know what that means. For some of us, we may not. Paint by the numbers is that there was already laid out the picture. It was already broken up into colors. It had numbers by it and numbers on the color. And all you had to do was... And when you finish, you got to really say, Mama, look what I did. Look what I made. Oh, baby, that is pretty. But we knew what it was going to be before you started. We knew the colors before we began. We knew what was good. But let me tell you something. Life may not be paint by the numbers. And what we think is paint by the numbers, God comes and takes the whole canvas down. Amen. God says, no, that's not what we're going to paint this year. That's not what we're going to portray this year. That is not how you're going to see your journey this year. That's not how you're going to move toward your destiny this year. But I'm going to challenge you to create something new. Something you haven't even thought about yet that is going to be a part of your experience. Well, Pastor, what are you talking about? Now, you all have to work with me a little bit. I'm not going to deal with this long because this is not my expertise. I'm not a painter. As you notice, I use the same movements every time with the brush. A painter doesn't do that. But even for the experienced artists, whether they do it on the canvas or in their minds, they prepare an outline. The artist comes with an inspiration and with a vision and with a desire for expression, and the canvas just provides a way to tell the story. My brothers and sisters, don't you know that you are walking canvases? That you are telling a story, and that your lives have been painted and sculpted and crafted by a God that is moving us with a design that He already has in mind for us. Amen. He doesn't want to tell us what the numbers are that we're to paint at a particular time always, because He wants us to discover the colors. He wants us to experiment with the textures. He wants us to recognize that what we think we are painting may not be what we're painting. What do I mean by that? Well, we might think that we are painting a self-portrait. Watch out, preacher, about to get a whole lot of trouble here. What is a self-portrait? It's a picture of yourself. And we do self-portraits for a number of reasons. Sometimes we do it because we want to accentuate. Watch out. We paint what we see ourselves to be. We do it. Sometimes we paint self-portraits because we're all we see. I'll give you a minute for that. Sometimes we paint self-portraits because we want to leave ourselves for those who are present and those who will come behind us. We leave ourselves as a part of the masterpiece, as a part of what we have created. Sometimes we may think that we are painting a mural. You know, a mural is not on a canvas now. We move beyond the canvas. We're painting on a wall. We're painting in a space where people's lives will be impacted as they come by what we have created. Sometimes we are painting a wall. That room needs a new coat. That's painting. Sometimes it doesn't feel artistic. Sometimes it doesn't feel sacred and special. Sometimes it's just the fact that a wall is dingy and needs a fresh coat of paint. And we paint it as a part of a work needing to be done. Not sacred, but when we've done it, we still look at it and say, wow, look at what God has still done. We find that these artists must have an outline. And our text today, as I move with our text today gives an outline. An outline that deals with perhaps the most famous person in Jewish history. It's Abraham, Father Abraham, one who is 75 years old. He has stayed in his homeland with his home people, and he has enjoyed his life into his years. And now he hears the voice of God saying, Abram, it's about to be New Year's. Abram, I'm getting ready to do a new thing with you. My brothers and sisters, if I might use your name and say these same words, that it's 2016 and God is ready to do a new thing with you. Well, you know, I'm 75, so what? I'm 5, so what? And every number in between. In other words, our idea of painting the masterpiece by the numbers needs to transition to a new creation that God wants us to paint. What's interesting as we watch preschoolers is we give them a coloring book and we give them a box of crayons. The more colors, the better. A very fascinating dynamic happens as they begin to draw and to color. Their grass doesn't have to be green. Is anybody with me this morning? Their sky doesn't have to be blue. Their sun is a whole different color. The shapes of things has any shape they feel like it ought to have. And what I want to say to you today, Zion, is God is calling us to create a masterpiece where the grass doesn't have to be green all the time. Sky doesn't always have to be the same color it is. And you're sitting beside somebody right now, and the shapes are different to them. The colors are different to them. And the reality is God is still working out the masterpiece in all of our lives. Abram is given a call and an outline. Here is Abram's outline. You're going to leave home, and you're going to journey to a place that I'm going to show you. Yes, I know you'd already figured out how your life was going to finish. I know you'd already figured out what things you were going to be doing. I know you'd already planned for retirement. I know that you've already been looking forward to particular events in your community. But no, Abram, you are getting ready to go somewhere else. Life after retirement. Life after job transition. Life after the children have left and the grandchildren have left. Or the children have come home and the grandchildren, and whatever your circumstance. However it works in your dynamic, God has laid out a new set of brushes and a whole palette of new colors. He's placed before us a grand and a wonderful canvas in which he says, I'm going to guide your hand. I'm going to prepare a part of your journey and your expression. So what does he do for Abram? He says, Abram, I want you to go not knowing where you're going, but knowing that when we get there, you're going to look back and say, what a wonderful journey. Many of us are so much in a hurry to get where we're going that we forget to journey. Have you ever done it? Something is wrong with my car. Something is wrong with it because every now and then I'll be going somewhere I don't want to go because that's just the pattern of going all the time. In other words, if you're used to going a particular way to work, let your mind get distracted and be a Saturday and don't see if you're not going to work. There's got to be something wrong with the car. I'm not saying nothing wrong with y'all. Have you thought about how it is that when you go somewhere, you pretty much mapped it out in your mind and you are comfortable with going the same way? time. And guess what happens? You missed things along the way. Because guess what? In your mind has already said, I've seen it already. Oh, I know I'm right about it. All right, let me move along because I can't paint, but I'm going to work this out. So what happens is God is telling Abram a new set of brushes, a new canvas, a new place to paint, a new place to see, new people to talk to, new ideas to hear, new energy to have, new trust in God to know. We say we want to trust God more this year. Well, guess what God needs to do? Put us in some places where we do it. We say we want to grow in grace. Well, guess what God needs to do? He needs to plant us in another place where we can grow. Abram, here is the journey of your life. All of the 75 years have waited for this moment. And I don't know how old you are today, but perhaps all of your years have waited for this moment. God puts a paintbrush in our hands. And we say what I would say. I'm going to do this. I'm the wrong one. I am not this person. Oh, I've seen Reverend May draw and paint. Can't do that. I'm the wrong here. God, you made a mistake. God says, no. Just because you think you can't do it does not mean that God can't do it. Just because we don't have it doesn't mean that God doesn't have it. Because we don't know it doesn't mean that what? God doesn't know it. Abram, rise up, go to a new place, a new time, new experiences, new opportunities, new joys, new excitements, new discoveries, new creations. Go, Abram, I have got your back. I am with you. Let's make a masterpiece together that will endure because I'm going to bless your seed. Amen. Everybody that's going to come behind you are going to be blessed. Well, I tie it to my story about Van Gogh. Those who have followed the trail, who have walked behind his pains and walked behind his locations and his experiences, have a new appreciation for what this artist was dealing with. And what he was seeing is he saw the world. He saw the world as a possibility of bright colors. He saw the world beyond those who lived and worked underground. Those who were burdened with the coal mining industry. Those who suffered anguished lives. He saw life better than that. And what God had him to do was to take a paintbrush and work out a masterpiece. Abram, what are you going to see as you make your way from Haran? As you make your way south to Canaan, as you go between the mountains with Bethel on one side, as you make your way down to the land of promise, Abram, what are you going to see? Abram says, I don't know what I'm going to see. But I'm going to take my paintbrush. I don't know what I'm going to see, but I'm going to take my ink pad. I'm going to take my smartphone. I'm going to take my camera. I don't know what I'm going to see, but every step of the journey, I know that God wants me to see him at work. He wants me to see him in the life of my neighbor. He wants me to see him in the activity of my family and the growth of the children and grandchildren in my relations. He's going to want to see if I'm paying attention because I have to capture the moment because guess what, y'all? After the moment's gone. In other words, you got to paint it while you can. That's right. Amen. You got to paint the picture now. You got to take the photograph now. Pastor, why did you have us do do that strange thing. Taking a picture of this church on the inside. Why did you have us to take a picture of someone sitting close and around us? Because you are building a masterpiece of nature. You are here today. You have worshiped God today. You have experienced the fellowship of those who are around you today. You have welcomed God to allow you to see the world, not as yesterday, but today, but a world that God still allows to journey with you. We are moving. We are moving. And lastly, let me say that God is calling us to paint the masterpiece of our lives as we look at the story of Abraham, because our story tells our journey. Everyone in here has come from somewhere. Amen. Everyone in here has a collection of their experiences, their thoughts, their hopes, their dreams, their disappointments, their failures. Everyone in here has come from somewhere. And let me tell you something, I'm glad that you're here. Because coming from somewhere has brought you to the house of the Lord. Amen. Some from the west, some from the east, some from the north, and some from the south, but we all meet at the place where the throne of God is positioned. We've all come from somewhere. We've all been working on our story. We've all been influenced by our events and experiences. And we've all come from somewhere by the very grace of God. Secondly, it tells our story of our journey because we're all being propelled by time in the same direction. Everybody in here, whether you want to move or not, since you've been here, you've gotten an hour older. Whether you wanted to acknowledge it or not, you have gained another hour on your life, which means that you gained an hour on your journey. And guess what? During this journey, you have already begun to prepare that masterpiece because you've taken a place of this glorious space and the wonderful faces that sit in your midst. Abram, do you know where you're going? No. But that's all right. Don't let anybody force you into a narrative where you have to have all the answers. Do you know what? No. But guess what? God is still moving me. God is still working it out. Don't let anybody put you in a narrative that you got to paint the way somebody else paints because they see colors differently than you see colors. They see shapes differently than you see shapes. And what God has put in your mind, your heart, you ought to say, glory be to God in the highest. I am working on a masterpiece before our God. So what am I asking, Zion? I'm asking that not only we not paint by the numbers, but let's not even paint in the lines. In 2016, do you think God has called you to paint in the lines? I don't think so. Why? Because who knows where the lines are now? That there are some creative things that our hearts must cherish about where we've been and where we're going. We just celebrated 115 years. And every single one of us is entrusted with that heritage. Every single one of us is invested in that legacy. So let's keep moving. Let's complete the journey. The journey God has for us. Every now and then, take your moment. We've got all this technology, and we don't know what to do with it. We got all these memory markers. We have no idea how to plant them in place. You started a journey today. You took a picture. A picture in time, a picture in space. This week, take a picture. Take a picture. Mark a place. I'm not even going to, I was going to give you some ideas. I'm not giving you any ideas. But somewhere in the week, you're going to say, if somebody is following my life and following the trail like Vincent Van Gogh, they're going to come to this place, in my experience, and they're going to look at this picture. And they're going to know what I am. Yes, sir. And they're going to know that I come from somewhere. And that they're going to know that I am still on my way. Amen. Are you on your way this morning? Oh, yeah. I'm finished. I told you I was out. I'll do better next week. Can't talk too much about Peyton. All right. Say masterpiece. Masterpiece. Masterpieces. Our young children, even if it was a hand stuck in paint on a piece of paper, it went on the refrigerator. Somebody's pointing one of their siblings. If we took a hand and took a piece of paper, took a pencil, and drew around it, and put it on a piece of paper, it was a masterpiece. We went into a magazine, cut out some pictures in the magazine, took some paste, back in the day, that white stuff, stuck it on a piece of paper. It was a masterpiece. And guess what God is doing for us? Yeah, we've got some paste here, keeping us together. We've got some colors here that are bright. Yes, we've got some dark colors. We've got some places that are very smooth, and yes, there are some places that are very rough. But God isn't through with us yet. Amen. The word of God for the people of God.